Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zilia as we proceed through the Rizu Ogata ending. Now, I have to say the word proceed in like a question sort of format because there's some sort of evidence to kind of state that maybe the chapters got mixed around. Because at the start of this chapter, things kind of confused me a little bit. As it kind of felt like this chapter that we witnessed is chapter 152 should have actually in fact been chapter 151, based on the dialogue that we were presented with in the first few pages. Now, this might actually have been done by deliberate, however, it could also be a mistake, and if it was, well, it's not really that big of a deal. It's an alternative ending route. Nothing that, substantial. However, even if it is out of place, it's still an enjoyable chapter because it's quite straightforward and it's quite easy to understand. However, it was a good laugh and there was a few cool things about it. So, when I say that it felt like it was out of place, what do I actually mean by this? So basically, if we go to these panels just here, at the start, it looks like that Eureka is actually shocked to see the little ghost girl again at the flat. Now, in chapter 151, he already knew that she was there. He actually saw her and kind of conversed and talked to her and sort of played with her almost. In this, it seems like he's just realised that that's the apartment and she's there with Rizu and Sekijo. As well as the fact this is another bit of dialogue where it's like, oh, cool, so you and Sekijo are now like roommates now. And he would have already have known that from chapter 151 if, so maybe with these alternative routes, maybe the mangaka is giving us the final chapter with them together, or like the middle chapter, and then the start, and then kind of building us back up towards that first one. So maybe last week's chapter was actually like the middle section. So this time we're back to the beginning. We get like another one because it looks like we're going to the beach, thanks to the swimsuit buying and the udon restaurant having a different sell tactic. But for me, it just kind of felt a little bit out of place. But, just based on the information that Yurigo should know and was presented and given to us in this episode. The humour in this chapter wasn't too bad. And thank God for Sekijo, because she made this chapter so much more enjoyable. The little ghost girl was nice and cute. And I like the jokes that she did. For Sekijo, I always like the running joke with Sekijo, where she's like bleeding out and she's getting a bit overexcited whenever Rizu's character is in the scene. And of course, we have a chance to see swimsuits. Because, like I said, the udon restaurant is doing a sale on the beach and Sekijo is having a field day. This is actually probably my favourite panel from the chapter, and it's just basically Sekijo losing her mind and then just bowing to the floor with blood oozing out and creating a massive puddle. Like, how much blood does this girl have to lose in this chapter in order to get her reactions like they do? I mean, she probably needs a doctor by the end of this. Good thing we know one. Azumi. Now, Sekijo brought the comedy, and so did the little ghost girl. And the ghost child was actually really good. I like what they did with her character. I especially like the scene where she was like jumping into the mirror and scaring her. I thought that was pretty fun. It was nice and enjoyable. Put a smile on my face at least. Now, the final panel is something we need to talk about a little bit. So, it wasn't too bad of a final panel. And it's nice to see Rizu acting a lot more bold and forward. With her, approaches and advances towards Eureka. I think that's quite good. It's very telling of her character, because if we look back, the Rizu from chapters like 1 and 2, and possibly like any chapter like before chapter, I don't know, say, let's just say 100, Rizu probably would not, do this at all. She would not be this straightforward. She would not be this bold. She would not be this daring or teasing. And it basically just shows how much her character has developed / progressed throughout the actual the franchise, the we never learn the series. And honestly, I really do like that. Rizu is a character that, for me, and I think most others, I might be wrong, started off like not really liking. She was a bit too she was a bit too stiff, if that makes sense. Like, she was always like a sucker for the rules. She didn't really understand much, so she came off quite blunt and quite rude. So to see her kind of evolve and adapt and change into a character like she is now, for me, is actually quite enjoyable and it's lovely to see. So there's also this panel as well that made me laugh, where she's like asking Eureka, is everything okay, or is this too stimulating? And Eureka's like, no, no, no. And she's like, fine. And she smiles. Now this smile might get missed. However, if I'm reading too much into it, then, let me know if you think I am. But Rizu's obviously trying to understand more emotion. Yeah? So she doesn't get sarcasm very well. Okay? But now that it's the end of the series, she should understand all these emotions to some level. And obviously, where she likes to tease people a lot, it's obvious to me as a reader that she understands sarcasm now. And she understands the act of being playful. Now, when Eureka is blushing and saying, no, everything's fine, it's all good, and he's not looking at her straight, she should be able to pick up on these type of body language techniques and emotions. And that's why she's smiling, because she knows deep down that he is actually stimulated and excited by her appearance. And he's saying no to kind of like be embarrassed and blush. And she's like, yep, I know he's lying, but thank you. That tells me that she has developed and she has changed. And honestly, it's a small panel. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just think it's great nevertheless. So, all in all, this was a really nice chapter. Again, it felt a little bit out of place. That's the one thing that I will say, maybe drop this chapter a little bit for me, personally. But it was a nice chapter. It made me laugh. Wasn't as good as last week's, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But if you're a fan of Rizu Ogata, then you're going to love this chapter. And that's all I got to say for this chapter, really. Like I said, it was straightforward. It was comedic. And it was just a pleasant read. That's all I can, I'll keep repeating myself if I keep going. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, I hope you'll have an amazing day. Comment all your thoughts down below on this chapter. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye for now.